Video number 2, so we're going to jump into the value in this video for the. So let's jump in. The first thing we lead out with is what is called a parent intake form. So this is kind of the questions that we go over in order to kind of get an idea or synopsis, kind of like a doctor. When you have an intake form, they'll kind of fill out how you're feeling and that kind of stuff there. So before we jump into the questions here, I'm going to walk you through what we present to them as far as the value up front. And so the value is in what we call our college planning booklet. So you're going to have access to this in this college planning booklet, it's going to be where you can have it in PDF, you can print it out, make it as your master booklet, and then I use this in my spiel in order to get them to allow me in the home for the second. So we're going to close this out, up 2 of them. So we give them pretty much still harvesting out there, Yale, Stanford. So this is like the top 100 endowment funds in the state. So they get that as part of the. They can go through, get data. Let me try to navigate through this about college admission booklet, because it's kind of like a roadmap. So the aptitude ACT test for that, AT, how to prepare for that, job notification survey. So 5-step activity to help you think about what you really want to do when you grow up. You know, you got the 15-minute assessment test, but this is just another exercises they can do in the booklet that we're going to bring back to them. Job security. All these are just different things that they can kind of fill out on their own and create a score, and then they can rank the major and stuff like that. So one of the things that we're doing now, and I don't know if this is part of it, this is it. So under the networking, and I'll talk about it real quick, but under the networking, we're starting to have the students to learn at the 8th grade year how to start their network. So let's say, for example, my daughter wants to be in digital media. And so I've already had her go out to a digital media company here in town called Lily & James, and she sat down with her little dress on, her little necklace and all that, earrings, and we sat down with them in their conference room. She introduced herself to them. They told her about their company and talked about internships possibly in the future, because she's only 14, going into her freshman year this year. And so she got their card, she put it in her phone, and now every quarter we're asking for anything but just building the relationship. We get about 15 or 20 different companies do that. Graduates from college, so when she graduates, she's built a network of people that can possibly hire her when she comes out of college. So that's stuff that families are not really teaching their kids. I really feel the schools are not doing that at all, and so we're trying to help with that piece. If a student doesn't know how to get in front of Lily & James, they can go through and follow our system, which is called Interview a Professional. So what they'll do is they'll come down here and they'll just cold call a company that's in their career path and say, hey, I go to such and such high school, and what I wanted to do is see if I can interview somebody that's already in the legal field or accounting field or whatever, and because I'm trying to do a survey, and if you don't mind, if there's a way I can call you back in the next week or so, conduct an interview with you over the phone, and maybe email you kind of periodically how I'm doing, if you don't mind me doing that. Oh, yeah. You know, everybody wants to be an expert. So then they go through, put in the name of the person, phone number, occupation, company, ask them these questions. How long have you been in the field? Why did you decide to work in the field? Yada, yada, yada. You get the gist of it. So that's just a piece of what's all in this booklet. All right, I'm not going to beat that down, but it walks you through the campus visits, when you do your college tours and all that stuff. So it's a very, very comprehensive booklet, and a lot of the families love it, and you're going to bring this back in your second appointment, and that's one of the main reasons why they're very interested in you coming back and talking to them about everything else that you do. So that's the first part. So the second part of what we do, so I'll minimize this. The second part of what we do before we go through the questionnaire is we hit them with this. And so this here, 4 letters. So we talk about college leverage. and all the whole program. And so you meet with them, you first start out talking about the booklet, you go into college leveraging, then you're going to go into Sage, and then you're going to go into the software, right? And then from that point, you'll segue into the questionnaire. By this point, you've enamored them and hit them with so much information that they haven't heard. They're just answering questions as you go through converting them over into the financial services side. So this here is one of the students that we have on a national level. So they actually got an award letter. This was kind of what that award letter looks like. It was $56,000 to go down to this college a year. Student contribution was $22,906. Parents contribution was $47,000, which you know that all came out the parents' pocket. So out of the $56,000, they had to come up with $50,000. They only got $6,000 in scholarships that came from the university, which was a general scholarship, which is endowment money, and then work study. So we taught them how to use the appeal letter, which is in the software, and then they also were taught how to use award letters from other schools. They sent all that into this university, and this university came back and took that $6,000 scholarship to, drum roll please, they took that $6,000 scholarship to a $34,000 scholarship. Right, so the family initially was going to have to pay $50,000. Their contribution amount went down from $50,000 down to $22,000, and so that's what we do. We create value. I'm not guaranteeing this is going to happen in every situation, but if you don't appeal or don't even try to appeal this, I can guarantee you it's not going to happen. So this is what we explain, and I explain it the exact same way. So I suggest you do the same thing when you sit down with these families. Show them the booklet. We'll show you in the training, in the 7-day training, how to hit the high points of the booklet. You don't need to know everything in the booklet, but how to hit the high points of the booklet to move forward through your interview questions, right? So that's the two things we start out with in the beginning. We transition over into Sage. I've already done that for you in video 1 when I talked about the student portion. So that's when I engage the student into the conversation. So I'm kind of talking about the student and the parent portion up front, talking about the college leveraging, again, with the student and parent up front. Then I move more towards the student, which normally people try to move into a sales pitch, but I'm going into the software, and I'm going into Sage and then the software, and then from that point I say, hey, I don't know if you're going to qualify for the program, but what I want to do, which is called takeaway selling, but what I want to do is ask you some questions to see kind of how you fit in regards to me making a recommendation for you being in the program, right? Your recommendation is sending their information up to us. So from that point you go in, you say, hey, what are your major concerns when it comes to college planning? You write down what they say. Make sure you put their name at the top too. How do you plan on paying for college? Do you have any systems in place to maximize scholarship opportunities? You're asking these questions because most of the time they don't, and this is just deepening in their mind that they need help, and you're the solution, right? How old will you be when your last child graduates from college? That is the financial transition question, because now you're getting them to think about college and retirement. And so for me, I have an 8-year-old daughter. I'm 44. She will be out of the house probably in about 9 years. So that pushes me to, well, I said college, plus another 5 years possibly of college. So that's 14. I would be 58. And so if you're taking money out of 401k accounts to send your kids to college and you're going to be 58, you only have basically about 7 years between the time she graduates from college and the time that I can retire. So I really got to think about that before I go pull it from those resources. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. So let me move forward into the next set of questions. So the next set, and if I can get this thing to navigate down for me. I think it finally caught up. I apologize. I got like 15 windows going on at the same time. So sometimes even a good old Mac will take its time moving around. So I am going to continue to try to pull this down. And that's the only thing about when you're doing recordings, you're at the mercy of the computer. So I see my cursors down there, so I think I'm ready now. Alright, so you can go down, there we go, here, and I think I went too fast. There we go. So you go down here to page 2, and you get more information about the name of the students, their birthdays, because that's how you're going to get the birthday points awarded to them, GPA, class ranking, top 5 colleges, major, all that good stuff, right? And so you go through all that, And then you ask them these questions. Well, do you know how much money you're going to need to retire? Now, what you want to do at this point when you're asking these questions is you want to submit in their mind that you're an expert when it comes to talking about retirement and financial planning or financial services. So they'll say $1 million. Yeah, okay. And so I explain to them, you know, $1 million may be great, but it's not how much money you have saved. It's how much money you're going to need to have in cash flow. We'll go through that through the 7-day training. But how much you'll need to have in cash flow, that will determine if you have enough money saved up. So we go through that. Then are you smarter than a 5th grader? So take 2 times 3 times 10 times 7 times 52 times 20. And so they try to ask them if they know that number. So they bring their cell phones out. It's a fun game. They get the calculating it out. The number is 436,800 if I'm not mistaken. And so I tell them that's how much money it will cost you to eat food in retirement. That's 2 meals a day. That's 2 people eating 3 meals a day. Average meal is $10 a meal, 7 days a week, 52 weeks for 20 years in retirement. That's how much money they're going to spend just on food. They're like, whoa, man, I didn't know that. Great. You know the rule of 72? No. That's how much time it takes money to double. So if I have an 8% return on my investment, 8 divided into 72, it'll take my money 9 years to double. If I have a 9% return on my money, divide that into 72, it'll take my money 8 years to double. They're like, oh, wow, okay, great. Again, we go through that through the 7-day training. Qualified versus non-qualified money. Do you know what that is? Qualified money is money that you actually have coming out of your check, going straight over into your 401k. You haven't paid taxes on it yet. It's going to be taxed in the future. Non-qualified money is normally money that comes out of your check post-tax that can go into investments like Roth IRAs, life insurance, what have you. And there's different ways that you're actually your money is looked upon when you move that money out as far as distribution from qualified to non-qualified. So I kind of break that down. All I'm trying to do is set the stage that they need to really look at other options that may be on the table that they haven't considered. Then I go into the 3-leg retirement stool. Do you know what the 3-leg retirement stool is? They're like, oh no. All right, well, you're supposed to retire with 3 income streams. One is Social Security. Second is a pension. If you don't have one, you can actually create one through different products. Third is personal savings, which could be a 401k, CDs, money market accounts, what have you. That third leg is your fun leg. That's the leg you travel, enjoy grandkids, what have you. The Social Security and pension, be it that your company has one or you create one, or your guaranteed income sources that cover your guaranteed expenses. So we break that portion down for them. Then I transition. I say, okay, well, what I want to do is get some information from you because there may be some things that you're doing that could help your child when it comes to college planning, but there may be some things that you're doing that can actually hinder them when it comes to your finances or applying for your FAFSA money and trying to get the scholarships and things of that sort. So I want to go through some questions with you so I can get a picture of where you are, and if I see some things that I can help you with when I come back, I can make some suggestions to you that could possibly help you out as you make your plans for preparing for college and retirement. Is that okay? Great. What's your adjusted gross income? Husband, wife, how many exemptions? Date of birth. You need that for life insurance. That's why I'm asking for it. Do you have life insurance? If they have one that's on the job, great. Get that information from them. Ask them if they have, and I'll go through this in the 7-day training. Ask them if they have the table, or do they know what the table increase is on the group insurance plan. A lot of times they don't know that. We'll go through that in 7-day training. Are they putting money into their 401k? If so, what are they contributing? What are they getting matched? Because I'm trying to see if they're overfunding that. And then also, do they have a 401k with another company that they haven't rolled over to this company, or do they have a 401k that's just sitting somewhere else, or money that's in some other account that they really don't know what's going on with it, and they would like to get more information about how to better manage that money. So I'm asking that question because I'm trying to find orphan money by that question. Do you have a college savings plan? Great. And then also, if you don't have one, or if you have one, are you funding that account right now? And if you're not funding it, or if you don't have one, what could you commit to funding towards a college savings plan? Now I'm looking for a financial commitment from them in regards to how much money they can invest into a college savings plan based upon how much they have left over right now in their current life situation. So by getting that data, I am ready to rock and roll and get ready to move into that second appointment. So I'll set that second appointment up with them when they actually have the ability to have me come out, and I'm telling them, hey, great, I appreciate getting all this information. I'm going to go back to the office. work on getting everything set up. We're going to get the $1,000 scholarship set up as long as they're a junior to a newborn. We're going to also make sure we get their access code set up to get into the software. We'll have a college planning booklet prepared for you when I come back, and then I'll look at what's going on with you financially and see if there's any suggestions that I can make that can help you take yourself to the next level in regards to preparing for your college, your children's college, and retirement. Hopefully that makes sense. That's a preview of what we do in that first appointment. If you move over into the 7-day trial, we'll show you how to transition to the second appointment and how to make that happen and how we go through the referral process. And quickly, I'll tell you, when they go through the referral process, they will get $1,000, but if they have 5 people that they know that have children that would benefit from the $1,000 scholarship or benefit from being in the scholarship software program or the SAGE $1,000 scholarship, if they have somebody that they think would benefit from having that, for every 5 people that they give us, we can give them a $2,000 additional scholarship. I tell them we can give, so if they have 4 people, we'll give them that $2,000 scholarship, but I really heavily say, hey, if you got 5 people in your phone or 5 family members that you believe that would, or friends that would benefit from that, we have to have that now in this appointment, because when I turn all this over to Sage to get you set up, they want to have those referrals when we initially set the account up. So do you have any other people in the family? We give you $500 for every person that you give us, up to 5 people, and that's up to $2,000 for 5 people. So I kind of go through that to explain that to them. Hopefully I didn't get bumbled in saying that to you. Hopefully that made sense. But I just straight face tell them, hey, Sage will give you $500 for each person that you refer to us, up to $2,000. If you have 5 people, please let me get their name, email address, or name and phone number so I can get in contact with them. Even if they don't meet with me, even if they don't want to be involved in the program, you guys still get that extra money by being in the program. So I just want to explain that to them, and then I set the appointment up hopefully for the same time the next week, and then I'm coming back with all the information that I told them I was going to give them. So that's what we do. This is how we get in front of the families for that second appointment, and then from that point we move forward. Now, I did not say this, and I'm sorry, I got so much I'm trying to say in the preview, but when we actually initially set this up, if you have 5 to 10 people that you know that have kids, what we do is we actually start you out in the 7 days, and we'll go through that on the other side, but I do want to kind of point this out because you're like, okay, well, how do I even get in front of these people to start out during the 7-day? So a lot of times if you go to work for a group, they're telling you to put a list together of 100 people or 50 people or 40, whatever that is. All we need is 5 to 10, preferably 10, but 5 will work. So basically from that point, you're going to say, hey, I'm involved in the scholarship program. It guarantees, as long as you meet the criteria, a $1,000 scholarship when you start and $1,000 of their every year of their birthday. And then the software is amazing. It does so much stuff. It does ACT tracking, college research, has text message reminders. It shows you how to find scholarships, how to write essays, all that stuff, right? And so if you don't mind, I just want to see if I can maybe bring out the information to you, kind of walk you through how the program works, show you this college planning booklet that they have, about how to do some networking, and then if you're interested, great. If not, that's cool too. And so you kind of use that as a soft approach to get in front of people that you know, go through what I just went through, and from that point, when you walk out, on average, I will walk out with 5 to 10 or more referrals per house by using the SAGE approach, saying that they're going to get $1,000 and another $500 for every name up to 5 people, being able to get $3,000 of scholarships, and they would get their cell phones out and they would get to, here, call such and such, call such and such, call, they all forgot about such and such, and I would fill that sheet up. So that's how I was consistently, this is how I've been working towards consistently getting the referrals from the program. I'm moving into a lot more upmarket now because of my licenses and things of that sort, but I just had a family that just came out here this Saturday. There was 2 families that came into the program, and I actually, real quick, I meant to do that, so I'm glad I'm rambling. I want to show you something real quick. This here is one of the families that came in here on Saturday, and I'm gonna shoot past. So I sent him everything via email. He filled it out, so he'll be 55 years old by the time his last child graduates from college. I'm going to shoot past real quick names. All right, and let me go here. So they are in Kansas. They filled out 436,800. He put in there how long will it take investment to double, and so then here he makes $275,000 a year. His wife makes $60,000. They have 2 claimed. There's the birthdays, but you don't know their names, so that doesn't matter. And they have $1 million life insurance policy. He has $270,000 in his 401k. He contributes $18,000 a year into his 401k, and he has $25,000 in his college savings account. And when I asked him how much money he can start saving, he can save $12,000 a year towards college savings. This is a real deal, you guys. I'm not sitting here just telling you something that that could work. It works, man. I'm not playing. So, and the crazy thing about it is, and I always say I want to cut off, but I got so much in me that I want to give. So let me give this to you. And you can take this, and you may not even do the 7-day trial, but this is just an approach that I use. When I have a person that makes that kind of income, when they're making 200 and what is that income for the family? That is about 300 and give or take $340,000 a year. High income family, they can't put money into a Roth IRA. It's just not happening. They're over the limit. So what you can do in that situation is find out, which I did from him on Saturday. I asked him, do you have after-tax 401k? He said, I don't know. So you need to know. And he said, why? I said, well, if you have an after-tax 401k and they allow you to do an in-service distribution, you can take that money from the 401k and put it into, you can backdoor a Roth IRA. You can do an in-service distribution, put the money into the 401k after tax, put it into the after-tax 401k, backdoor into a Roth IRA with the in-service distribution, and then that money that's actually in there, you can take the cost basis out without dealing with the situation with the, because you already paid taxes on it, so you can take the cost basis out, leave the growth in there for retirement, but that money that's in that after-tax 401k does not have to get listed on the FAFSA form when you try to apply for your financial aid. Money that's in that 529 plan is $25,000. You got to list it on the FAFSA form. But if you backdoor a Roth IRA, you can actually still use that money for college, but also avoid the asset protection allowance when you're preparing for your financial aid. So there's more tips and tricks that we'll talk about when you become a member, because this stuff is ongoing. But I did want to point that out, that this stuff is real. So I'm done. I did go over longer than what I wanted to, but I am grateful that you guys are investing the time. Hopefully my last video, when I talk about the business side of it, won't be as long as these two are, but I think the total amount of time for looking at the preview of this program shouldn't be any more than about an hour. So maybe an hour and 15 minutes. But that's all I got. I appreciate you.